Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger, and this is Scarcasm.
Wow!
And Chase is in the building.
That I am.
And based on a pre-show conversation, I have never in my life ever worried about someone calling me a socialist. I think that's some real like white people shit right there. Like I've never like. For real, I've never even halfway thought about that. Like the thought of like someone might call me a socialist, and that might be like a bad thing to call someone, has never crossed my mind. But I'm pretty sure that's different for you. I mean, being a white dude from North Carolina.
I don't really care. I mean, well, me, like, I don't really want to get into political stuff, but the whole thing, the socialist communist thing, is silly because socialism is kind of like a part of communism, but it's not like the whole thing, because we
correct.
We actually, as a country, have a lot of socialist ideals, which, because it's kind of a mixed economy, because we have things like public fire departments and public parks and the police department and, you know, social services, you know, that it's all like, that's paid for by taxes. That's kind of like, so we have like the kind of good parts that work, and then we also have a free market. So it kind of, other than people like clashing on both sides, what we have over here is kind of ideal situation of having like kind of regulated capitalism with some socialism kind of mixed in where it works and where it don't work.
You know what? I think that was the intent. Like, I think the whole intent of our government was to be like, okay, we're going to take a little bit from over here. We're going to take a little bit from over there. We can, we'll hold it open so that we can fix this over time. If things change, we can add stuff, take stuff away. And I think that was the right way to do it, It's just that people just take politics to extremes. Like, I'm not even, like, super into politics. At this point, it's just waiting for the next 45 fuck-up to talk about, but like I'm not even super into politics, because at the very end of it, and I've said this I don't know how many times, at the end of the day I have one vote, and that's pretty much my involvement with politics. Like, my involvement is what I'm able to vote for. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that background like sound like a fan or something like that is really loud today.
It is fans. We have like every fan going. Hold on.
No, see if you do you have the I know you have a blue snowball, and I'm not cutting this out, but do you have the one where you can change the settings on the back?
There's no I've never seen any like
because my older one has a switch where you can kind of make it more focused in certain ways.
Unless there's software to it.
This new one does not. So you probably have the same one that I have now.
Right.
But no, it'll be all right. We'll let it ride. I can turn the fans off. Whatever you just did, it's not as loud.
I just touched the microphone with my hands.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not as loud as it was.
That's weird. But yeah, it's weird because like if you ever read or seen like Animal Farm, that's the whole deal. It's like the initial idea was like pretty good, and then people started exploiting it. It's like all the animals are equal, and then it turned into all the animals are equal except for these are more equal than others, and then and right. so it was easy to exploit, and so everything has to be caught in check, because that's the thing with like the past two presidents that I'm like I voted for Obama both times, but on the same token I'm like, can't we just get like somebody that like has no ammunition for someone to go after, like just so, because like when it was Obama's, it was like people were just mad because he was black or this or that and whatnot, and I was like, and then with 45 it's like, oh, it's because it's freaking Donald Trump, and so it's like we haven't had a just regular
I think
politician.
I think the most regular politician that we've had in recent years, I think the last regular politician that we had was Clinton until the like stuff with the women.
Yeah.
I think he was the most normal. He was just charismatic. He was just a normal guy.
Right.
I mean, and he, he had his issues just like everybody else. But then we got W, and W was never supposed to be a president.
Right.
He was never supposed to be the president. The only reason why he's the president, and like this is like some backroom conversation stuff. The only reason why he was the president is because Jeb was supposed to run, and Jeb and Al Gore were too similar to each other. So they couldn't put Jeb up against Al Gore. So they put W up against Al Gore. because Jeb and Al Gore, they sound alike and everything. So they were like, well, we can't really put Jeb on this.
I love Jeb's slogan. Everybody else had some sort of like creative slogan, and his was Jeb.
Yeah. I mean, at what point do you simple is best? Like, I guess that's what it was. Simple is best when it came to Jeb. So then, I think part of the problems with Obama, one, I think the biggest problem that he was a black dude. But the worst part about him being a black dude is he was a half and half. So, like, even if you called him, I mean, I know a lot of people still do, people who are mad about it still do the one drop rule. You got one drop of black in you and you black. But, like, he was a half and half. So, like, even if you believe that he is a black man, he is still half one of you, too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and he carried himself as, the fact that he carried himself as a black man. But I don't think that was the real problem. I think the biggest impediment to Obama was the same thing that's happening right now with 45. Mm-hmm. Is that like people started going like way left or way right when it came to their news sources and stuff, and like people until the very, very end of Obama's presidency, like, people were still complaining that Obama was going to take their guns. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, bruh, it's been 8 years. Nothing has happened. Like, those death camps that you talking about for, like, the Medicare stuff where they were just going to kill off the old people, it never came. Like, all of this stuff that you've been afraid about for 8 years never showed up. And to the very last day of his presidency, you were still worried about these things that never came. He told you, but you didn't want to listen to him. And now you spent 8 years believing something that just wasn't true, and you just wasted 8 years where you could have, at the very least, tried to hear this dude out. I think my issue with both Obama and 45 is I don't think either of them knew what the job really was going to be. Mm-hmm. It just, it was like somebody said, you can be president. I can? Really? I can do that. Yeah, I think you can win this. Really? You know what I mean? Like, really? You think I can be president? And I think, they both wanted to do it for different reasons. I think Obama truly wanted to help, but then he had like all politicians, they all offer you something in order for you to feel some kind of way about him. But I think Obama got into the job finally, and it was like, you can't really do half of that shit, right? There's ways to do this, and you can't really do that. I saw a thing like, and when it comes to 45, I just thought 45 was just not qualified to do this at all. Like, because he hadn't, people wanted to vote for someone who was an outsider because they were disillusioned with the politicians. But cool. But if you want someone to run your whole country, maybe you want them to, at the very least, have been a mayor of a city. You know what I mean? That was my issue. I didn't, it's not like, 45 is narcissistic and most of the time doesn't seem like he's very bright, but he knows how to pander to his audience. But I just didn't think he was qualified for the job. Like, what have you done that proves that you can run a country? Like, how many of your businesses have you ran into the ground? Like, how many of your how many times have you filed for bankruptcy and all of this other stuff? Like, you can't control your shit. Why would I give you the keys to a whole country? That's like the guy who can't control a go-kart, and then you give him the keys to a fucking pickup truck. Like, you know what I mean? You can't control a go-kart. Why would I give you a pickup truck? Or why would I give you an 18-wheeler? It makes no sense to hand the keys to this guy. That's been my whole thing. I just never thought that he was qualified for the job. And he proves that he wasn't qualified for the job every day. Look, bro. All right, we got to get off the politics thing. And I'll let you say what you got to say after this. Okay. So I saw a video, and it is a series of clips that proves 45 believes that stealth bombers and stealth fighters are actually invisible.
Really?
There's a series of clips. I watched this video earlier.
Is it just clipped together, or is it like actually?
It's different pieces where he's talking to people, basically saying like, you can't see them, they're invisible. You can't see them, right? And like it's him talking to like other people, and like I don't think anyone wants to break it to him, but like it's different. It was different times in different settings that he basically said that stealth bombers are. He was like, it's stealth. That means it's invisible, right? Like, he actually believes that the stealth bombers and the stealth fighters are invisible planes. I think he really believes that shit. I don't think he's joking.
The Normandy didn't even go invisible, even though its stealth drives were amazing.
Well, the stealth drives were only it was what is it? It controlled the emissions so that you could not track it based off of like the emissions. It closed off the emissions and held them for a little while, so that they can sneak up on somebody. So you didn't see the trail coming out the back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, you got anything on this before we move on?
Well, one thing is someone did bring up, like, there's certain jobs to where, like, just, like, teachers and stuff that literally their job requirement is they can't have social media accounts. They would have to delete them all. So, shouldn't it be, like, a thing for the president? You know, don't you think that should be a thing to where they don't, like, do it themselves? You know what I mean?
Right. I think
because it's like a risk to people. Like, our enemies can just go on his Twitter and, like, see what he's writing. Like, his actual... Because Obama didn't do his own Twitter.
Right.
Every now and again, they would actually quote him, and it would say... It said in the thing, if it says B or something at the very end, it's actually his words.
Right. I think it's okay for him to have a Twitter.
Not have a Twitter, but actually use it.
And I think it's okay for him to actually use Twitter. I think he needs to understand that there's a lot of things that you're not supposed to say. And I think the narcissist in him has him just like, fuck you mean I can't say this? You know what I mean? Like, and then like what they were talking about, like during the wars in like Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff like that. And there's a comedian that was just like, yo, if I am one of these people that they're trying to get a hold of, like, all I would do is just get a fucking satellite feed and turn on the news, because they're just telling me where these people are, what kind of missions that they're on, who they're looking for. Like, they're telling me all of this on the news. So why am I just not watching the news at this point? And it's probably like the whole news thing. It's probably like how Bin Laden was able to escape for so long. Like, Bin Laden just completely disappeared. And no, he unplugged from society and social media and all of that other stuff. But I'm pretty sure he had somebody that he trusts that was just watching the news. Be like, yeah, they setting up this mission over here. We don't have to go that way because they're coming from this way, that way, and that way. Because I saw this on CNN yesterday. You know what I mean? Like that kind you know, that type of thing. I saw this on CNN yesterday. Apparently, they're coming from here, here, and here. And maybe we should go this way so that we can get out of here before they come here and we can keep you safe.
Now they're just over there with a smartphone. Look at Twitter.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful like they can track your phones and shit now, and like he can't, like Bin Laden can't be on Facebook. Because Facebook got all these permissions on your phone, like they can take your picture and all this kind of shit without you knowing.
They got these special terrorist phones. It's like, it's like that mode. It's like that mode in Chrome that you can, where you go incognito.
You want to know something crazy? Like somebody, I saw an article not too long ago. I don't know how relevant this shit is really, but apparently, it's like PlayStation is a good place for them to meet. Because the platform is so closed off that you don't just have people snooping. So like they use like PlayStation and like what I mean. So you
want to be using Discord because Discord's pretty closed off. You have to the code and everything.
I wouldn't even put it on Discord. You know what? Let's all play some Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like, let's all play some Fortnite. We can talk about the missions and stuff like that. They just think we playing this shit in Fortnite. I don't know, it's just crazy. I just, like I said, I think it's the Dave Chappelle joke, where the white guy is pulled over by the cops, and the cops is telling him what he did wrong, and his answer is, I didn't know I couldn't do that. And I think that's what 45 is. Like, he had no idea what he was walking into, and including like the Twitter and stuff like that. It's just like, What do you mean I can't tweet? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just, and he's easily offended, and he will just pop off tweets at people that he feels like was offensive to him and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be above that. Like, you're supposed to be above Twitter beef. Like, you're the president, dog. Like, come on, man. Like, I need you to be above Twitter beef. Look, I've always said this, and this is one thing I said about W. I knew that he wasn't the right choice when I felt like I was smarter than the president. I don't ever want to feel like I'm smarter than the president of the United States. You know what I mean? And I felt that with W. And of course I feel that with 45. I definitely feel like I'm smarter than him. But like, I never want to feel that way, whether it's true or not, because like, I don't really know that dude at all, but I never want to feel like I'm smarter than the guy who's in charge of the whole country.
Right.
Oh yeah, to the person or persons who destroyed the star on the Walk of Fame. Okay, now what? Last year.
Thank you.
I think really just, okay, now what? You destroyed the star. Good job, buddy. You know what you did? You just made all of this shit worse. You just made all this shit worse. Like, you got like a very small victory, right? But you ain't thinking the long game here. 45 is all about himself. Think of what he's gonna do now. They're gonna rebuild that star, and he's gonna want a rededication ceremony. And now you just basically gave him an opportunity to have a new ceremony for the new star. Thanks, jerkbag. Just for a temporary smile, you now have given us the opportunity to witness on every channel imaginable his star on the Walk of Fame's rededication ceremony. Thanks, jerkbag.
So I finished Mass Effect 3.
How'd it go?
Went good. I really enjoyed playing on the PC, like a lot. Like, after I was done with it, I was thinking about it a lot. I was like, what now? What do I play now? Because, I mean, with games like that the same thing happened when I beat, like, both the Personas and just these long games that you spend so much time with. You're like, what do I play now? It was like... but yeah, it went
Witchers.
Good. Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, if you're saying, like, what's the next step in, like, if you want to stay in that realm, the Witchers are the answer.
Right. I played Witcher 2 back in the day, but I had yet to finish Witcher 3.
But you have a PC, you can play the Witcher 1.
I do have the Witcher 1, but I heard the controls suck.
Doesn't matter, you have a PC, you can adjust your controls.
Well, anyway, I dug the whole thing. That Mass Effect 3 is a really good game. I kind of forgot how good that game was because all the backlash and stuff, but that game's amazing. And Citadel was absolutely, like, the best thing ever.
Was that your first time playing through the Citadel?
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, it's so amazing. Like I said, that mission, you have just one mission in the whole series where everybody is there.
Right. Rex is like, I love how... Now I know why I love you guys. Why shoot it once? You can just shoot it 45 times.
Right. And having Rex back for that, if Rex survived.
Yeah.
Having Rex back for that was amazing. I miss my dog Rex.
Yeah, I had everybody with me except for the people... Well, I had everybody with me at the party except for the people that can't be there, like ever. But, so... Yeah, Miranda was there, so... Miranda lived and all that.
Was Ashley or Caden still alive in your playthrough?
Yeah.
Which one was still alive is one.
Oh, Ashley.
Okay.
And that was the first time doing it with Ashley. So...
Oh, so you've done it with Caden still alive? Did Caden try to fuck you?
Actually, he was, like, very melodramatic, but he wasn't, like, all, like, trying to, go that far. And maybe I just wasn't saying the right things. Maybe you just were saying the right things to him, man.
I don't know. It's just, like, we were having a conversation about, like, you my dog and all that other stuff, and he was just like, I love you, right? Like, no, nigga, like, no. No, that's not the conversation I want to be having right now. Like, that is nothing close to the conversation I want to have with motherfucking Caden.
Even dude, what's his name? The shuttle guy. Like, he was cool as shit the whole time, and like he didn't even come on to me like that, like you were talking about.
Oh, let me tell you, there's a part where Mark Meir is talking about a scene that he messed up in the final mission, where Steve crashes.
Yeah.
And so Steve crashes, and if you have built up a decent relationship with Steve, he'll survive it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Steve starts to crash, and they took pieces from different takes. Yeah. So Shepard goes, Steve!
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, that's how it was in mine. He's like, Steve! Because he's like, I'm okay. You sure?
Right. Like, so, like, he has this, like, big, like, Steve! You okay? He said they messed that up. They took it from 2 different takes. And he said that the one where he said to Steve that he was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
The weird thing about Mark Meir, though, Mark Meir is a comedian. Like, he does, like, improv and shit like that. Like, really. But, like, we all know him as Shepard, and we don't really know him as anything else. There was this web series that he played on, and he was, like, goofy and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't really like goofy Shepard. Like, this doesn't work for me. Because no matter what, that guy is Shepard. Like, I can hear it in his voice. And, like, he is so Canadian when he's talking normal. So Canadian. Also, two things. Mark Meir also does a lot of voices for them, including he does a lot of, like, the side characters, background stuff for them. And he is also when they were trying to figure out what the different races were, he is the one who figured out how the Solarians talk. Okay, another fact.
Okay.
The model that Shepard is based off of, his face, the default face, is the exact same model that they are making fun of in Zoolander.
Really?
The what's his name? His name is like Mark Vanderloo or something like that. Is the model for Shepard's name, and yes, that guy is who they're making fun of when Ben Stiller created the character of Zoolander. That's who he was making fun of. But like that guy looks really different now. Like if you look at pictures of him, he looks exactly like Shepard. Like they really did a good job recreating his face for Shepard. But like now he has like longer hair and like a big beard. He kind of looks like the most interesting man in the world. Now, but you know there's Shepard in there somewhere.
Yeah, I really dug it, dude. And yes, Steve did survive. Because I pretty much got everybody up, and I got everybody playing nice. The only one that was a little low was the Solarians, but
yeah, because you only get one chance with the Solarians to mess up the genophage.
Right? Yeah, I don't, and I'm not gonna do that shit. Fuck that shit. So, but they were still like in over 100, which I was fine with. Because everybody else was like really high. So, and Geth and the Corians, they're all cool, and
yeah,
I had
she had to kill herself,
right? Because and it's really cool because with the romance stuff in 3, they have a lot more opportunities to flesh that out. Because in 1, it was like you talked to Liara like twice, and all of a sudden you guys are in a serious relationship, but in 3 it was like. Especially if you take, I dated Tali in the 2nd and 3rd game. If you take her on missions, that she will like say certain things at certain parts or like whatnot. So and all that stuff is like really cool. It seems more fleshed out like that. And then at the very end, she was like really distraught. That because she gets hurt, and then like. She goes. I make her go back on her ship, and she was like, just got in tears, like, "Please don't go, and stuff like that." So, and I didn't remember that because it's been so long since I played it, and I've only played it once. I didn't remember a lot of that stuff, and I did get green, even though I didn't do my my readiness, but I did so much in the main game that like everything was maxed other than the readiness, so I still got green. But I never knew that you couldn't. That would be blocked off.
The very first time I played, I hadn't played much multiplayer and shit, and I did not have the green option.
But did you like just go back, just mainline the story, or?
No, I played it multiple times. I went through it again and made sure that I did the readiness thing.
But I didn't do the readiness, and I got green.
But remember, this is early. This is before the DLC that added extra readiness and all of that other stuff. That added extra assets for you to use.
Right.
I think part of it was the DLC that adds those extra assets. Oh, did you get the gun?
Oh,
in Citadel?
Yes. The thing's awesome.
It's totally awesome. and shout out to Nox. Nox is a stickler for wanting to go back to before clips. Like, he's just like, no, they told me that we don't need clips because it's just, he's just like, no, they told us we don't need these anymore, so why did you bring these back?
Right. But they're thermal clips. They're not actually bullets.
Right. But we all know what this is.
Yeah. So it's basically what the guns were before, except they don't overheat. You just replenish. It's like, instead of a rechargeable gun, you have a gun where you change the batteries.
Right.
But yeah, well, why would they go? Maybe it was a safety issue. When the gun overheats, maybe people were melting their faces off.
Right. So it's, I don't know. It's just a bit.
And the green and like, I don't know if people were like playing Renegade or they wanted to do the control or the destroy and stuff. Like, green's such a beautiful ending. I don't know how they have a problem with it, man.
I don't like it. I know it's what you probably should choose. But see, here's the problem.
Okay.
If you go green, then that means Saren has been right this whole time.
But if you go control, that means the Lucid Man was right.
Right.
If you go destroy, that means, well, everyone's back to caveman.
Right. And Anderson was right. But, I mean, I do not like the red ending. I am a fan of the blue ending. That was my first ending.
Is blue control?
Yes, I thought it was the right ending. Like, I infuse my my soul, my essence into the Reapers and use the Reapers to help people instead of harming people. Like, that makes more sense to me. And yes, that makes the elusive man.
I wonder if you still had your consciousness, and you as like a big Reaper just like went up to Tally and be like, "Hey, it's me, Shepard. Shepard? I know I look a little different now. I have big fingers. Look at them."
I'm Commander Shepard, and I am the best Reaper on the Citadel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Reaper fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the blue ending, but the green ending seems like the right one, but the green ending very much proves that Saren was right the whole time.
Yeah, but
no matter how much of a jerk he was and how much he was indoctrinated, his whole goal was, let's fuse with these machines. Let's
but he
be
was
a part of this. Let's be a part of this so that we won't get wiped out.
Yeah, but he was letting the Reapers fuse with him rather than you fusing with the Reapers. So it's like, it's a difference.
Right, like he was basically, it's the same idea, except for he was still a servant to the Reapers.
Right. So it's different.
It's different, but the basic concept is there. Saren was right. Ain't no other way to say it. Like, he was right. I mean, he was just right, though. Like, there really ain't shit else you can say about it.
Saren was indoctrinated, but Lucid Man was also indoctrinated. And here's what I gotta say about people, because I noticed this in 3, because I didn't notice it before. But when people were saying, "Oh, Shepard was indoctrinated the entire time," that whole theory, there's one part that completely debunks that. You're talking to the Prothean VI, and he's talking to you, and you're talking to him, and you guys are conversating. And as soon as Kai Lang shows up, he's like, "I'm shutting down. There's an indoctrinated person nearby." And he puts it up because Kai Lang came up. So Kai Lang was indoctrinated. If Shepard was indoctrinated, then he wouldn't have been talking to Shepard.
Well, most of the indoctrination theory people say that you knew it was real on that run to the Citadel when Harbinger showed up, and Harbinger didn't kill you. There's no reason for Harbinger to do what he did, not make sure that you're dead, and just leave.
But then why did the Prothean talk to you and not Kai Lang?
Because that's before. I'm talking about that last run with Marauder Shields. Because remember, Marauder Shields is like the hero. Mm-hmm. Because he tried to stop you from being fully indoctrinated on that ship. But like that last run where you're get out of the car and you're just running, and Harbinger is just shooting at you, like right before you get to the elusive man and Anderson.
I mean, maybe he could have indoctrinated a little bit at that point, but not the entire series.
Right. That's accurate, because like you said, that was that moment where that Prothean VI was just like, "Ooh, he's here. Alright, Dan." Like,
yeah,
because
that's kind of like obvious, because even Anderson was a little indoctrinated.
You think so?
Because he couldn't remember. He was like he couldn't move and shit.
No, he was being. Remember, they put the implants in the elusive man, and the elusive man was controlling him with it, because the elusive man thought that those implants will get him to control the Reapers. He underwent a procedure. That's when you're on when you're getting ready to the point where you're getting ready to kill Kai Ling. There's those little areas where you can just watch like videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
And right before all of that, the elusive man goes through a procedure, and that's why his skin and shit looked like that, because he had infused Reaper tech inside of himself in order to.
But that's probably how they were able to indoctrinate Anderson and Shepard, is through the elusive man, because he got so close.
It's possible, but I don't buy into indoctrination theory. And like a lot of it was a lot stronger before the extended cut ending, but the extended cut ending really did like add in some pieces that were missing, like, you know, where did the people that were with me go when I went up to the Citadel? Like, originally that wasn't there. Why was the Normandy leaving? Like, you know, none of that stuff was in the original cut. So people were just confused, like, because it just kind of jumped around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I could talk about Mass Effect all day.
You talked about it on Facetious too?
No, but I could.
You could have.
It's such a great game series. I think it is now number one. It used to be second to the Halo series, and even though I really want to play some Halo, I haven't so far because I haven't played very much at all.
Oh, guess what?
What?
I have gold.
You have gold now?
Yeah.
Word. We need to finish Gears, damn it.
Because it was like $10 for 3 months, which is actually a pretty damn good deal.
Okay.
So it was like 3 months for the price of one.
That's cool. I did play some Killing Floor with my cousin. I did talk about that on Facetious. It was good. Like, I didn't even realize that my cousin played Killing Floor. I was, you know, somebody sent me a message on Xbox, and I was on my computer, and I saw the message, so I opened up the Xbox app, and in that little thing where it shows, like, so-and-so just got a new achievement and stuff like that, I saw that he got an achievement in Killing Floor, and I was like, where you play Killing Floor? Nice. And it just kind of went from there. So that was cool as shit. Like, being able to play Killing Floor and also being able to play with somebody I never really played with before, and kind of like played around with the game but didn't quite understand it as deeply as I did. So I got to teach also.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't played any like multiplayer type stuff, but my brother got Destiny 2 for Xbox, and he was like, I got Destiny 2, you have it right? And I was like, yeah, but on PlayStation and the PC. He was like, shit. So he just gifted me Destiny 2 for the Xbox, so I guess I'm going to be doing that. But it was like $20 for like everything for the past year.
Okay.
So
I think at some point Activision needs to give Destiny 2 away and hope that people will buy the DLC.
They pretty much did on Humble Bundle for the PC.
Yeah, for the PC, but they didn't do it for the consoles. And I don't know what their numbers look like, but I know their player population is supposed to be like terrible right now.
Right.
Because for a game series that's supposed to last 10 years, it doesn't seem like it's gonna make it that long.
Well, because how it seems, I don't know what they're gonna do, because 10 years next year will be halfway done, right? Because it came out in 2014, and 2015 was year 2, and 2016 was year 3 of Destiny 1, and then Destiny 2 came out last year, and then year 2 is this year, then year 3 will be next year. So if they keep that same thing, then Destiny 3 would be 2020, and then it would go through the 3 years of that, and then it would end in 2024, and that would be the 10 years. But I don't know if they're going to actually do a Destiny 3, or if they're going to continue just adding on Destiny 2, because the whole reason they really did Destiny 2 was because Destiny 1 was also on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and they didn't want that baggage no more.
Right.
But
some of the things that we thought they were going to improve on for 2 kind of stayed the same, and it was just like, well, I thought you were unrestricted.
Well, it seems like they're going to improve on that stuff with the Forsaken. Because here's the thing that like is frustrating, is because you're not going to please everybody. They pretty much changed everything in Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 to appease to the people that kind of left Destiny 1, and the people that stayed that actually liked the grind and liked weapons being completely random and trying to find the God Roll tier weapon and like grinding for hours to get it. They liked that shit, and when they changed that shit to make it more, casual, they hated it. So, and then if they change it back to the other wings, the casuals are going to hate it. Because I didn't like having to like freaking get the perfect hung jury. You know what I mean? It was cool just to have the hung jury, and that's how it was. Because it was one thing finding the weapon was hard, and then finding the weapon with the 3 exact perks was like nightmarish. But then people were like addicted to that shit, and they loved it. So So it seems like Forsaken, they're going to make it to where you can play like Destiny 1 or 2, depending on what you want to do. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but it seems cool. But
yeah, I really liked Destiny 2 in the early days. Like, I really liked it. I started all 3 characters. Mm-hmm. So at some point, I really dug it. But I think it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of fell off for me. And, like, I just felt like I wasn't really doing a whole lot, but just grinding. And, like, when your game becomes a grind, I kind of check out.
Right, but the grind is what the Destiny 1 purist liked.
Right.
And see, here's the thing that I compare it to is when people compare it to games like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, like these like real MMOs. Here's the thing, man. They're like, oh, there's constant updates, there's constant this. We're always getting new, like really good like for like the Taken King DLC. We're getting that like every month, like a new like freaking story stuff. And I'm like, but you're also paying $14 freaking a month for it just to play.
Right. And then you spend another $40 every time they come out with an expansion.
Right. So just the subscription is like $140 a year. And then the Destiny players are complaining that they gotta spend $70 for year 2 for everything that you need in year 2. Okay. Yeah, it's $70, but you pay a lot more than that if you're going to have... Because people put so many hours.
And I know people who continue to pay for World of Warcraft and don't actually play the game
because they think they might actually like go back to it. Well, why don't you just cancel it and then go back to it and just re-up it? I don't understand that.
I don't understand it at all. It's not. I guess it's not for me to understand.
Because like Hulu and stuff, I'll cancel Hulu until all the shows are coming back on.
Yeah, I cancel Stars when power goes off.
Right.
Yeah, I add on Stars to my Amazon Prime when power is on. As soon as power is off, I'm like, all right, I'm cool. And I'll probably do the same thing with American Gods. When American Gods comes back, I'll turn on Stars again. I'll get my American Gods on and let it ride.
Right. Yes, weird. Well, some Humble Bundle stuff went to my account. Some game called The Escapist 2. I don't really... It seems like your type of game.
It's a prison escape game. I've seen it. I don't know. I like the whole thing about building the prison. Like when they came out with escape mode in Prison Architect, I've never done it.
Right.
That part of it doesn't interest me much.
And it also come with Conan Exiles, which I was ever interested in that kind of game, but I'm willing to play it if there's friends that have like a server or something. I actually am interested in seeing why they like it so much. I'm not interested in like just like going into the wild and freaking surviving. I think it would be fun if we had an established thing and I was just hanging out with friends like freaking killing dinosaurs or whatever they kill in that game. But I don't know. And then the Hat in Time was also on there, which is kind of a platforming game. But I don't know much about it, but it seemed too close to Ark. Right.
And like I watched people play Ark, and like I've seen people be frustrated as fuck at Ark when they weren't playing on a server, when they were just playing the game how you're meant to play it, just being frustrated as hell. Like I know this one guy, he like ended up like really like he's like a YouTuber, and he really was like cussing and fussing because he would spend a lot of time doing something and like training up some dinosaurs or some shit like that. And then like at the end of the day, he'll go back and he'll put everything in his little hut that he made for himself, make sure that his dinosaurs are straight. And when he came back, at some point, a T-Rex decided to go to where his area was, trample his whole fucking house, and he lost everything, and then he had to start all over again.
Yeah, that would be frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will LARP in those games. Like,
yes. Yeah, they have role-playing servers and stuff. I don't know about all that.
What would you do in Conan? Like, just, well, I guess it's not like caveman, but it's barbarian, so you're probably going to be talking like, me like meat. You know?
Right. Me like meat. That is the show title. Yep, you did it.
Yeah.
Yep, you did it.
I did start playing Dead Space again. I haven't played Dead Space 2 or 3, and...
Nope. I'm only playing Dead Space in the middle of the day with the blinds open. I am not playing anytime. Like, the times that I have to play games now are usually at night, and I refuse. I absolutely refuse. And I don't get scared by much.
Right.
But I was shook when I started playing that game, because jump scares, like, no matter what, like, they gonna get you eventually.
I was talking to a buddy of mine, Mock, and then we were talking about Dead Space, and it seems like Isaac Clarke is basically the John McClane of the gaming world at this point.
No, he's the slave of the game. This is what I hate about Dead Space.
But he gets so fucked over, like, and he's just a normal dude. That's what.
Here's the thing. It's like, y'all supposed to be like scientists and shit like that, right? And it's like, yeah, we need to turn these generators on. You go do it. Like, okay, so now we got to hit this reset button. You go do it. Like, it is, and that's pretty much the whole game. You know, like, kind of like how Halo 4 is about, Chief, go press this button.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, it's Halo, go press this button. That's Dead Space. Dead Space is like, okay, so you hit the next story beat. So that means there's some things that we have to do, but you have to do it. Right. Just you. No one else. Just you. I'm not going to help. I may talk to you over the radio, but you may hear some other stuff because you're fucking crazy, but you're going to do this shit by yourself.
He's like, I'm important. Like, I can't be messing with these, like, crazy morphed, like, monster whatever things. You're a mechanic. Or whatever he was.
Yeah, but when you start asking the mechanic to do some science shit, it's like, yo, you supposed to be the scientist, nigga. Like, what are you doing?
I do think it's cool that all the weapons in the game aren't actually weapons. They're like tools. Like, right. It is pretty cool.
I will say, my very first playthrough of Dead Space, I did not know that you could step on those little Xbox looking things, those little Xbox looking things, right, and get like more ammo and stuff.
Right.
I just walk right past those every single time until like I saw like a review of the game after I was finished, and someone stepped on that and got ammo and shit, and I was like, oh shit, I could have did that this whole time.
Yeah, we were also talking about how, like, it seems like he's growing throughout the series. Like, he's getting better at fighting. Because in the first game, when it comes to melee, he's like, and that's his fighting. So, because he's just, like, nerd. Like, take the nerd to go out there and freaking fight these monsters. Because I'm important.
Indeed. We're getting close to that time, man.
We are.
We stretched the hell out of this.
We are, youth of the nation.
We are. We are. That should be the name of the show. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I really want to do alternate show titles because we're at the end of the show and I hadn't thought of any more other than that. Yo, let me ask you a question.
What's that, man?
Did you see that video on Facebook of the girl who got her ass whooped at McDonald's?
I think in passing, but I wasn't the one watching it.
Fam, apparently the lady decided she poured a milkshake on this lady. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at the two of them, the person that was the poorer doesn't seem like she should have even bothered messing with the poor E. Because that's very David and Goliath right there. And in this story, Goliath won. I mean, that lady was much larger, and like you really fucking with a chick when you got a halter top on with no bra and nothing like that. And, like, her titty popped out, like it was bad. I mean, and I said titty because like she seemed like the type that would refer to her own breasts as titties. So because she didn't seem like she was a very nice person. So they titties a day. Nice breasts are called boobies, but her, like that popped out. Somebody was trying to help her by holding her back. It seemed like another employee was trying to hold her back, and then that lady went off on that lady. So the second lady who was trying to help started fighting the girl too. Like there was, it's like greatness, sir. It's so greatness. I implore each of you to watch that.
Implore. Well, I implore you. Thinking of Red Dead. You were always with those big words, John Marston.
And we don't get Red Dead until what, February?
Yeah, actually not that far off. Like, it's funny, like, when people were like, say, oh man, the game's been pushed back from 2018 to 2019. It sounds like a year, but it's like a couple months. I'm like, calm down.
Exactly. So, is there anything you want to talk about before we wrap this up? Anything you want to discuss? Shouties, all that other stuff?
No, I'm good. Just shout out to the people that listen, because they dedicated.
Shout out to Sam, man, who, like, completely rededicated to the show. Like, he went back. Did I ever tell you this about what Sam did?
Yeah, because he was also, like, commenting on when we were talking about, like, do-rah-rah-rah, and that was, like, a year ago when we were watching it and talking about Celty and stuff.
Sam asked me what episode you came onto the show and went back and downloaded every episode from the time you started. I told him I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Sam. It's awesome.
No, it's not. Like this.
Shut the fuck up. Let me have my moment.
So yeah, he went back and started listening to all of that. Oh, I do have a correction. I got a text message from someone, and I won't say who, but apparently my conversation about wrestling was incorrect. So, all I got is just out of the blue, The Undertaker is not retired, motherfucker. And that started off the conversation about correcting the fact that I said I thought The Undertaker was retired. I mean, he took off his gear and left it in the middle of the ring. I thought he was, I thought he was done. I thought he retired. Apparently not. Because then I got hit up saying that Cena called him out this year and he kicked Cena's ass in Mania in less than 2 minutes. Now he's supposed to be at SummerSlam in 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know this?
Right.
I don't watch wrestling. But apparently that was an incorrect statement. But he wanted to make sure that I corrected my error in talking about The Undertaker. So it has been corrected. The Undertaker is not retired. In fact, he whooped somebody's ass in less than 2 minutes. And his name is John Cena. Have you ever heard that video where the guy keeps prank calling this lady with the John Cena thing? Oh my god, it's hilarious. They just keep calling this lady back. Turns out it is a local station from my home. It's a local station, and they just keep calling this lady. It was just like, hey, there's someone running for office, and he wants to do right by the people, and blah blah blah. And his name is John Cena with SummerSlam and all this other stuff. And they just keep doing that to her over and over again. So yeah, that was like hilarious. In fact, I'm gonna watch that as soon as this is done, which is in a few seconds. So if you ain't got nothing else, I haven't really done anything unusual at all. I am watching Luke Cage again, so but like in pieces. I watch it when she's watching, or sometimes she's watching, I'm at work or I'm asleep or something like that. So I kind of get in here, get in there. The Jamaicans are really easier to understand the second time.
Nice.
A lot easier to understand the second time. But yeah, so I ain't done nothing really special at all. I'm sleepy. I do want to get into some point. I do need to play Frostpunk so I can do that actual official review on Facetious. But I bought Sim Airport, and I've been dying to play Sim Airport. I bought it during the Steam sale, and I have not had a chance to play, and I would love to play Sim Airport. And I have a month before 2 Point Hospital comes out. Have you ever played Theme Hospital?
A little bit. It's free. It was free on Origin at one point.
Okay. I had it on disc. It's like $1.50 on GOG right now. And 2 Point Hospital is the newest version of that. Cool. Some of the same people from the team. And I keep saying that on all of these shows because I really hope people go out and support that game, because it seems like it has more playability than the Jurassic Park game that got everybody hype. Mm-hmm. Because the Jurassic Park game was cool, but it turned out not to be a whole lot there.
There wasn't?
No, it turned out to be very, very limited. The majority of the dinosaurs are the plant eaters. There's supposed to be like DLC for like some of the water dinosaurs and things of that nature, but like you can't put, for the most part, you can't put most of your dinosaurs in a enclosure together, like, because the carnos would just eat the other dinosaurs, whether they have unless there's like a stegosaurus or an ankylosaurus or something like that with like armor and stuff like that. You can't put them in a thing with one of these other dinosaurs, and then like the moment you do put two carnos together, they will just fucking keep fighting each other for no reason.
Right.
Even when there's food, or like when there's live food, because you could do goats or you could do just a big plate of meat that they could just eat whenever they want to, they'll say, no, I want to eat this other dinosaur. And that's pretty much how they do it.
Nice.
And all of the large carnos have the same killing animation. Like, it's a bunch of weird stuff. But yeah. It looked like a really good game. It really does look like a really good game. I hope they can update it and add more stuff to it. I know it's a movie license game, but like, please support that the team that's behind it. Please support that game, because it seemed like a really cool idea, and I hope they can do something better.
Right. Yeah. I thought it looked cool, but one thing that's kind of holding that back is that it's a city builder type game that's like $50.
Yeah, because it came out right before the Steam sale, so it wasn't going to be on sale.
Right.
So, yeah. Alright, so, shout out to the people, man. We appreciate y'all. I'm back painting. You can check those out at my Instagram, Scarfinger, and Facebook.com/PTCAC for Peace Through Colors, Arts and Crafts. And I think we're out of here. Peace out to the Warrior Show.
Later, dudes and dudettes.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. I'm telling. All right, I ain't gonna talk.